Still trying to set up the. We're still trying to set up the studio, the home studio right now. You know, and getting things together, folks. Sorry about that. If you watch the recording on YouTube, if we do the record on YouTube, definitely, man, my bad. Setting it up, getting the camera angle right, you know, doing the things that we be doing that y'all just don't see. Because sometimes we're in the studio together, and that's just how it works. And so if you
Just
hear
the
the
behind the
TV in
here
the
look.
back,
Just the
right? If
behind the
you hear
scenes, the behind the scenes look.
if you hear the TV in the background, sorry, you know what I mean. Yeah, we sometimes the TV just right beside the camera. All right, so we're here. We're back for another episode of the Arguing Brothers podcast.
Yes,
Give us a
sir.
round of applause, Raymond.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, man, listen, it was a interesting game that we saw the other day, brother. It was a lot of man, that was a really, really, really interesting play game, and we already know the finals have started. Uh, there's going to be a lot of ebbs and flows, a lot of changes are going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna get to talk about it. That's the one thing about what we do on a weekly basis. We get to talk about these things, which is fun. We can talk about a lot of different stuff, but this is one thing that we get to talk about that we get to dive into. So let's start it off. Give me your recap of game one in the finals. What was your thoughts, bro?
Man, it seems to me Denver came out with the mindset of we're gonna try to limit everybody else because we've seen over this playoff run how Gabe Vincent and Strauss and Caleb Martin been going off, and that's why I think that's been feeding the Heat. So Malone came out and said, "Look, we giving Bam anything he wants." You know, Bam came out, hot. He took 25 shots, his career high, and I think they just made a conscious effort to say, you know what, Bam is not going to beat us in this series, so we're gonna let him do him and try to limit everybody else. Um, Jimmy, he came out, hit his first couple shots, but I just think he was very passive the whole entire game. And they need Jimmy to be Jimmy. I'm not saying you got to go out there and just shoot the ball 25, 30 times, but you got to be aggressive, right? When you get in the lane, don't look to pass. Like there was a couple times in the game where he drove the lane. He could have just either took a little 15 footer, but he kicked it out for a three. So just need to be aggressive from Miami standpoint with Jimmy. And Miami just shot the ball horribly. Caleb Martin didn't give him anything. Struth didn't give him anything. Duncan Robinson didn't give him anything. And they need these players to hang with the firepower that Denver has. And if you look at it from a Denver standpoint, Denver probably feel like they didn't play as best as they could, right? KCP didn't have a great game. Michael Porter Jr., was just jacking up threes, in my opinion. He was 5 of 16. So, those type of players, Eric Gordon had a pretty good game. But I just think from Denver standpoint, they probably feel like they can play better. Just like Miami feel like if their role players come and just hit some of their shots, it's probably a different game in game one. Gabe Vincent, started out real slow, but he picked it up in the fourth quarter. But Miami gonna need all their players, in my opinion, to really make this a real competitive series. It can't be just Jimmy by itself. It has to be everybody. But Denver, there's just too much Jamal Murray and too much Jokic, man. Like it's gonna be tough to stop those two cats. But if I'm Miami, we got to make Joker a score, right? I don't want him to have 14 assists because if he's getting 14 assists, right, that means he's getting everybody else going. And I think if Miami, that'll be one adjustment. I think they should definitely make in game two.
So let me tell you what I got out of this. For me, um, make sure you can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what I got out of this, bro, is we got one team that's playing is clicking on all cylinders, and another team that's really been playing well to this standpoint of game one. I don't see nothing Miami can do to win this series.
Yeah, it's gonna be an uphill battle, though.
I don't see anything like they can go to a big lineup, Kevin Love with Bam, maybe spreads the floor out a little bit more. But with that stating that, it's like saying, okay, so stating that is going to be like, so when you go tell them who's going to guard Gordon, who's going to guard Joker, who's going to guard these players, that key inside players, well, Mary has an advantage over Vincent.
Yeah, too
Mary
small.
has a Mary has an advantage over a lot of pretty much all their guards except Martin.
Yeah,
Caleb Martin, that's it.
yeah,
Everybody else is going to be a physical disadvantage because they're too big. They have big guards. KCP is a slightly big guard.
mm-hmm.
Like, I don't. What can you do? Like, and then think about them. Where they picked them park in the first half was back screens,
Oh
cutting
yeah,
to the basket, and post ups.
yep,
What can you? How can you? What defense can you run against that? That you're gonna have to give up something. You're gonna have to give up something on the behalf. Okay, all right, you give them post ups, cool. All right, you're like, okay, we're gonna give this up, great. But then you're gonna have to give up other stuff. Like,
yeah,
I don't see what can they give up. And I'm watching the game, and I'm in all the way. I mean, I thought I might know. I thought Denver's gonna win in five, but when I'm watching it, and I saw how they played in the fourth quarter, Denver wasn't playing great in the fourth quarter. Man, they were actually
bullshit.
what? Man, that's BS and missing open, wide open shots. The same open shots that we were talking about with Miami with Screws and Caleb Martin and Vincent. The way they shot the ball, Denver's key players, KCP did not shoot the ball well.
Yeah,
Um, what's the kid named Porter did not shoot the ball. Kevin Porter Jr. did not shoot the ball well.
yeah,
But yet they still beat you by 11. They were up by 17 at one point.
yeah.
They were up by 20 at one point. I just don't see what can they do. Like, I get it. You think you're a good team. You're gonna be you. I mean, you pride yourself on being a top notch team, and I understand what they're thinking. And the mentality is, I agree with them. Miami's not gonna go down without fighting. But
Yeah,
sometimes you gotta look at. I said the same thing with the Lakers series. I like, man, the Denver Nuggets are better. And
yeah.
sometimes you have a better team in front of you. It's not a lot you can't do. Your margin of error is so small. I mean, it's going to be a very tall hill to climb. They're going to have. For me, I feel like the only way they can really get back in the series is somebody gets injured.
Think so?
It's gonna have to. It's gonna have to be an injury, bro. It's gonna have to be something that level of an injury, something of that nature that's gonna allow them to maybe get in there, get in the series. Because I don't think the Kevin Love change and the starting lineups are gonna do it. I don't think that's gonna
Nah,
do it.
nah.
Um,
Because Aaron Gordon too quick for him.
he's too big.
Yeah,
He's too big. He can post him up too. And then what's gonna happen when? Because you can go pick and roll with Aaron Gordon and Joker.
yep,
And Joker can come off, shoot that tray ball if he needs to, shoot that long range too. And if you do that, Bam's ineffective. No shot blocking. Kevin
nope.
Love is not a shot blocker.
Nah, they ain't.
So what can you really do to slow this team down outside of maybe Jimmy just having one of those games he had with the Milwaukee Bucks?
Yeah, unless they go zone, and even when they try to go zone, all you gotta do is put Joker at the free throw line, and he gonna pick you apart at that point. Like,
Even the zone defense worked when only when Denver was missing shots.
yeah,
I mean, this notion that this zone defense was just such a equalizer in the fourth quarter is ridiculous. Yeah, they ran the zone defense in the fourth quarter, but let's put the logic there. Denver Nuggets were missing wide open threes. Kevin Porter is not going to go 2 for 11 again.
yeah,
He's
he was
not going to
missing.
do
He was
that,
missing
man.
some, and he was missing some wide open, like clean
Wide
looks.
open threes, and we text each other during the game. You were telling me he was shooting, he shoots some bad shots. I'm like, nah, I'm cool with some of the shots he's shooting because they're aggressive.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's just not falling for him. But if it falls for him, that's a 30, 25, 30 point loss.
yeah, and Miami defense, like they had some good looks too, right? But they
Yeah.
just didn't hit them. And I think that would be the only saving grace for them if they feel like they can go and hit maybe 15, 16, 17 threes in a game. That may be able to, offset
They're gonna
what then, hopefully, you know, they can get to the free throw line. But they're not an
oh
aggressive
two
team.
but two free throws. No, they're aggressive team because they depend on Jimmy to
Yeah,
put
Jimmy's
teams in
aggressive.
foul. They depend on Jimmy to put people in foul trouble. But they
Yeah,
couldn't do it this game because Denver played a very good game to keep them off the line. Which seems to be something they worked on for those 9 days that they had off.
yeah,
They look fresh. Look at the fresher team. They look like the more talented team. I just don't see what can happen. I do feel like it can be a closer game if Miami plays to their strengths. But if you put it out here like what we're seeing, man, and you've seen the way these teams are playing against each other. Aaron Gordon is playing a great defensive game. He kept cutting Jimmy out to the basket every single time. Made those shots very difficult.
yeah,
Um, and if you're depending on Vincent and Strauss, even on was it Donaldson? if
Yeah.
Robinson, if you're depending on those three to win you this series, I like Denver's chances moving forward.
I mean, they said Tyler Hero might play game two, coming back off the broken hand.
Yeah,
I mean, they'll give him another shooter, another playmaker that can, get his shot off the dribble. But like I said, he hasn't played hell since what the first round of the playoffs. So like
right.
it's hard for them to, put that much expectation on him and feel like he's gonna be the savior for him. But they might have found something with the good kid Highsmith.
It's Highsmith. Yep.
Cosme, like he hit some big shots late, but at the end of the day, like, can he be consistent and can he get consistent minutes? Because he probably won't play if Caleb Martin is playing better. But yeah, it's a tough uphill battle for Miami, man. Like Denver just has a complete team, bro. They got everything you need to win a championship, and I see why that they were the number one seed all year, and they're in a position right now to cut down the championship, cut down the Nets. Like they got a complete team, bro.
They got a very good team, and that's what I'm saying. That's gonna be the difference. Is
Mm-hmm.
that team? It can what can is are they better at what they're doing than Miami?
Yeah,
That to me is gonna be the difference, bro. That
yeah,
is it. Like what they is because it seems like to me that what they do on an everyday basis, their team is better than what Miami does,
yeah.
and that to me is going to be the key. Can Miami will their style of play
Mm-hmm.
on this team so they can win? Because
Yeah,
I
can it
don't
be
that
enough though? Can it be enough?
that's gonna yeah I agree, brother. Can't be enough, and
Cause it,
that's gonna be the key. That's
yeah,
gonna be the key. Can their style of play win over? Can their style of play get them over the hump, man? And that's gonna be like because I mean that's Miami. Miami's gonna be Miami. They have that grit and grind and do it the hard way. They got the
yep,
slogan that makes perfect sense. But can their style of play get them over it? Can they style of play? Can they do what they need to do to win this series? I don't know if they can do it because they're just not the more talented team.
yeah, and will Denver keep the same game plan of letting Bam go off? Like, cause Bam, they just literally was like Joker just letting him just get anything he wanted, and I don't think Miami can win that way.
So what's your expectation for game two? What do you expect to
I,
see game two?
I think a more aggressive Jimmy. I think Jimmy gets you 30. And I think he gets to the free throw line. But then I also expect a better Jamal Murray. Like he had a hot first quarter, first half, and then kind of struggle a little bit in the second half. But I expect KCP to shoot the ball better. I expect Porter Jr. to probably give you 15 to 18, shooting a little bit better than he did before. But I think just for Miami, bro, I think to them to have a chance, Jimmy has to be aggressive. Like he has to go for 30 in this series. Like it can't be, just getting 14 shots. So I need a more aggressive Jimmy in game two. But I think more from a Denver standpoint, just continue doing what you're doing. But also if I'm Miami, I want to make the adjustment of making Joker a score, right?
Mm.
Because like I said, if he's getting 14, 15, 16 assists, then that means everybody else going off. Like he's getting other people involved, and he know he can get his shot at any time he wants. But I'm gonna make him a score. I don't want him to get 15 assists with
Do
the
you
triple
think?
double.
Do you think making him a score slows him down though? Because I mean, for what I'm seeing, like he can get 3, 5 to 7, 8 shots in a game early in the game. It's cool, but it doesn't seem like that slows down Denver. It seems
Yeah,
like maybe that making him a score. He did drop 53 points against the Suns, and the Suns just played. If Devin Booker didn't play out of his mind, they would have lost.
yeah. But like you said, the way Denver has been rolling, bro. You look at the stat sheet. Damn, boy, Porter has 17. Brown come off the bench with 14. You got, what I'm saying? Like everybody seems to go off, and Joker is ahead of it because he's controlling the whole entire offense. But like I said, if you can just limit those assists and stay home on everybody else, I think you have a better shot. But you just can't really do nothing with Joker. Like he's going to get his 30 almost. Like it's just hard, but you got to try to figure out a way to limit him getting everybody else involved, some kind of way.
Here's my, but here's my problem with that thought process. If you allow Joker to just play free offensively, right? You put them in foul trouble early,
Good.
right? Then the double team has to come eventually. So you're
Yeah.
gonna eventually give up the wide open shots. Do you start the game saying, okay, you know what, we'll take Joker away, make him more of a passer? I mean, maybe of a scorer. Okay, we take his passing ability away. We can make him more of a scorer. Okay, great. That's cool. You do that. Then he turns around and has 25 points in the first half, dominates the game, put you guys in a situation where you are behind the eight ball when it comes to free throw shooting and fouls.
Yeah.
Um, and now they're at the free throw line early in the first and second quarters. What do you do then? Like to me, that's gonna be interesting. And then here's another thing: they can always, first of all, number one, Joker is probably what is he? He's ranked first or second in 3-point shooting in the not in the finals, but in the playoffs, all in the entire
I'm sure.
playoffs.
Yeah, he's shooting efficient.
So if he's shooting the three well and he's hitting the three ball, and you're like, okay, we're gonna let you score, great. But eventually you're gonna have to change that style because he's gonna spread your defense so thin and you're gonna be having so much a problem that it's just, I don't know. To me, and then to me, you can't truly lock him down because he's gonna come out that pick and roll where where he dashes to the basket, peels out to the 3-point line, shoot the three, or dishes the ball in, or handles the rock. He push your defense on skates
Yeah.
the entire time, and I just don't see what can they do. I don't think Miami's gonna win game two. I think
Yeah.
Miami's gonna lose game two, and they'll go back to Miami 2-0.
Yeah, he a tough cover, right? Like you can't take away everything, but at the same time, you gotta try something. Like he's just that much of a mismatch, right? And you gotta try something, and if it don't work for local, you adjust, right? But you gotta try something different. But at the end of the day, like Joker just that dude, bro.
I
He's
feel like
that
they need
dude.
to. I do feel like they need to play better defense on guys like Bruce Bowen.
Yeah,
Bruce
yeah.
Bowen had a very strong game. He had a
Mm-hmm.
very strong game in game two. I mean, game one, excuse me. And guys like Bruce Bowen, guys like guys coming off the bench, you got to play a stronger game against those guys to show that you can shut those, not only shut those down and make it very difficult for them. But you can't when you're an all-time great or a great player like Jokic, or even how Mary's playing right now, he's playing at an all-time great level,
Yeah.
or a great level, not all-time great, but a great level right now. He's playing at a high level.
Yep.
You
Superstar
gotta,
level.
you can't stop, you just can't slow them down just by doing little things on them. I mean, if you look at Mary, he's putting guys in the post.
Yeah, they're too small. Like
Too
even
small.
Kyle Lowry too small, Gabe Vincent too small. Like only person they could probably put on is Caleb Martin, but they need Caleb Martin to check Jamal Murray. So and it's just tough, bro. Like it's tough.
We talking about Jamal Murray. He would put him in the post.
Yeah, like
And so
nobody can
so
really
Caleb
really stop him.
Caleb Caleb Martin won't do anything, and that's another thing. Caleb Martin's kind of been at times he played against Brown and some of the other defenders, and even in the Milwaukee series, he didn't really have to play a great two guard. Brown was probably the only great two guard he's played against.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe he played it. I don't know if he played. I gotta look at the series against the Milwaukee Bucks. If he played against their number three, is a small forward, but even at that even at that level, this is probably the best player. If he's playing Jamal Murray at least 80% of the game, it's going to be since he's been on his team. I mean, especially in this playoff run, this is the best player he's played against. So I don't know what can they do, and if he has to play even Kevin Porter Jr. is 6'10".
Yeah, that boy long, bro. He
He's
taller than
long,
Bam.
strong. Exactly.
He
So,
taller than Bam.
and I don't think giving Bam 25 shots in the game is going to help.
Nah. I mean, I
It's
know
not
they
going to
just
help.
giving it to him, and I think that's the game plan with Denver because they're like, all right, we're gonna slow everybody else down. But
Hmm.
if Miami's going to win this series or win any game in this series, you can't have Bam leading you in shot selections. Like you just
Yeah,
can't have it. You just can't have it. Yeah, and
Bam
another
25.
adjustment too. Look, and another thing, like with from what Miami was doing in the Boston series, like when Tatum and Brown would come off the dribble, they would see bodies, right? And that's what you kind of got to do with Jamal Murray. But Jamal Murray ain't always taking it to the rack all the time or really being aggressive like that. So it's kind of hard, man. So it's an uphill battle for Miami. I'm interested to see what those adjustments are going to be in game two. But yeah, I still got Denver winning game two. Hold it
Yeah,
home
I got to
court.
give him. Yeah, I think they're going to win game two, man. So what's your finals pick then? Overall, what's your finals pick?
I had Denver in six, bro, but it's I think it's in five. I think it's over in five. A party in
I
Miami.
I think we both agree on this, man. I've been saying the same thing. It's not gonna be. It'll be a part in Denver though, because
Oh yeah, they don't do the three in a row no more.
man, they'll do three in a row. So it's 2-2, and then 1-1-1-1.
Yeah,
So I think it's Denver in five. I just Man, I just don't see it. I mean, Denver didn't play great. They played
Mhm.
great inside in the paint, but they didn't play great from perimeter standpoint. They still beat you by 11. They could
Yeah,
have won by more. I mean, they had subs at the end of the game. So, yeah, I think Denver and five, bro.
yeah. It's an uphill battle. It's a great story. Miami with the first AC in the finals. I mean, it's a great story, great culture. They tough. Spo has, showed his greatness as a coach, but sometimes, bro, you just overmatched.
Right, but how about this, man? Can we finally give Mike Malone his
Yes,
props for being an elite coach?
yeah, he's
I
been
feel
a
like
great coach.
people have really undermined this guy and made him seem like he is not a top tier coach. But he came to Denver, changed the culture there, and
Yeah,
I don't understand why people want to give this guy his props for being a absolute top tier coach. Man, he's been one of the best coaches in NBA for the last 5 6 years, and taking those players, Jamal Murray, Jokic, even
Other,
KCP, Kevin Porter Jr., not top 10 picks. None of those guys were top 10 picks.
yeah.
All
Porter
those
probably would have been
guys,
number one.
all
If it wasn't
those,
for his
but,
back.
but he was back though. He was still 14th pick.
Yeah, if it wasn't for his back injury, I think he
So,
definitely probably been top five, at least a lot of top five or one.
but
He might have been number one
even
pick
with,
shit.
but in reality, he was literally drafted. He's drafted at 14th.
Yeah,
Jamal Murray is drafted like out of the first 10. Yoke was drafted in the second round. We got to give this guy his just due for building a culture there and building and making the adjustments he make. And when his teams are not satisfied to his potential or their potential, he'll call timeout and get at them.
yeah.
I'm respectful of that. I respect that 100%, man. So let's give it up to Mike Malone. Let's give a shout out to him. Let's give a crowd for Mike Malone for being a top tier coach, man. And we'll give you ultimate championship love when you win the chip. But right now, man, we gotta give you props for being a top tier coach, bro.
And it helps too when you got two superstars. Like Murray's ascending. He had the knee injury. He missed a whole year last year.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like,
But you
so,
can't. But you can't. Hold on though. But you can't predict that because where they were drafted at, there was no real frame of mind of like these guys being that type of potentially players, talents. Nobody thought about. We saw Jamal Murray at Kentucky. He was a great kid, a great player, but we didn't see what we're seeing today.
oh, absolutely not.
So him, I mean, it always says a lot about my man, Coach Cal, but like at the end of the day, you got to give their staff, you got to give that head coach the credit he deserves for putting those guys in position to be successful. I love both all those guys. I mean, Joker, second round pick, 41st pick, two-time MVP,
Yeah,
potentially about to be a Finals MVP. You got to put it out there. His story is great, and
yeah.
he can figure around and be one of those top 15, 20 players that we ever seen play the game.
Hell, shit. Just having your boy Brown coming off the bench looking like microwave Vinny Johnson around this joint, dog.
But hold on, and not only that, m- remember Brown was playing the position when he was at New Jersey. I mean, with the Brooklyn Nets,
Yeah,
he's playing point guard here.
yeah. They putting the ball in his hand and say, look, we need you to be a scorer. Whereas
No,
in his
he's
other
no,
stops, he's like, this is more defense.
but he only been in one stop. It was only the Brooklyn Nets,
Yeah,
and he played. He was a defender, and he played power forward. Remember the game against Milwaukee, the Bucks? He played power forward.
yeah,
This series, he's literally. I mean, in the playoffs, and then this season, he's been playing point guard, backup point guard.
yeah. They need it.
Come off the bench, man. So it's a different vibe, man. You got to give it up to him. You got to give it up to that guy for taking these teams, taking these players, put them in position to be successful, put them in positions that they can respect and they can build in and they can grow in, man. So shout out to Mike Malone for that, bro.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
Let's get into the thoughts. Let's get our thoughts on like Nick Nurse, man. What's your thoughts on Nick Nurse? Nick Nurse is now the new Sixers coach. I don't know how many coaches they had in the history of their damn organization. But give me your thoughts on that, him becoming the head coach, man.
He fits that Philly mantra of gritty, right? He got the most out of Toronto, right? He won the championship in his first year. He had a prime Kawhi. And ever since when Kawhi left, they've been a very solid team, making the playoffs. You know, They got a couple all stars with Van Fleet and they had with Siakam, but there was always a gritty, grimy team, good defensively. I think it's a great hire for Philly. They can probably get more out of Embiid, even though Embiid is was definitely probably could have easily been a 2-time MVP as well. But I think it's gonna help Maxi, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
like Nurse helped develop and turn Van Fleet into an all-star point guard, I think they can do the same thing with Maxi. So I love the hire. He's gonna hold people accountable, right? He's a get after it type coach. So if I'm Philly, I love the hire. They've definitely got a good one. I'm sad that Toronto let him go, but another man's junk is another man's treasure. So good hire by Philly, I think.
I'm still at a wait and see type vibe with this hire, man. Because I mean, Nick Nurse is under Adrian Dantry, who was the coach for the Pistons and was the coach for the Toronto Raptors before they let him go, and then the Nurse came in there. I mean, he was actually an assistant. So I gotta see it's over waiting high because outside of the winning that he did with Kawhi, I don't know what else he's done. Like you put him on a scale of like what has he done since Kawhi? They've had some good teams, but they haven't done anything since. So I gotta see what can he do with second time having a superstar player.
Yeah.
Um, with the wit in Toronto, Siakam was a good player and could be potentially he's an all star. Definitely could be potentially a star player, but it wasn't always consistent.
Yeah, he
And
wasn't.
then whether it was OG and some of the players they thought were guys that were going to ascend, they didn't ascend. So I gotta see what can he do with a talent like a Embiid, because overall he really has not mastered having a talent like a Embiid. I mean, because like I said, outside of Kawhi, he's had a superstar player, but everything else has been role players.
Yep. Yeah, he
And since
has.
since Kawhi, they've been out in the first and second round of the playoffs.
And
So I
that
gotta
may be that might be their max, right? That may be their ceiling. Like they didn't have they had Van Fleet. Siakam was up and down the last 2 or 3 years, but maybe that just was their ceiling. Like that was just they didn't have enough to get over the hump and get further into the playoffs. And he just did the best he probably could with the talent that he had.
that's why I'm at a wait and see because I feel like that this is gonna show us
Yeah,
if he can't get Philly to at least the Eastern Conference Championship next season, Eastern Conference Finals, he's not the guy.
yeah.
Because
No,
this team is ready to win right now. Now I
ready
don't
to
know what's
win.
gonna happen. We're gonna talk about the James Harden situation, but I don't know what's gonna happen from there. But if he is what think he is, and he's the type of coach that he's the championship coach, he should be able to take this team to the next level.
Yeah, he should.
Like it
And that's
should
the
be.
expectation.
That's the
That's the
expectation.
expectation.
So I'm like, I don't know it because I'm not seeing it. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I'm just saying I gotta wait and see because I gotta see. He's never had this type of talent. He's never had a James Harden. If James Harden stays, he's never
Yeah,
had an Embiid type of talent, big man like this. So he got Mark.
was it
Uh,
Mobley or whatever?
no. Mark he came from Memphis. From Brazil. Uh, Gasol.
Oh,
He got
Marc Gasol.
Gasol. He got Gasol late in his career. So he's never had a big man with this type of talent who's in his prime. I gotta see what he's gonna do with this. I mean, I'm happy for Philly because they can move forward with a different coach. I just never thought Doc was the guy.
Nope.
But I'm gonna make sure I'm not sure this is the guy yet until I see this coming season until they get to the playoffs. Because this guy right here, we gotta see because if we gonna bet everything like we saw last year, Philly got a third seed, played Brooklyn, swept them, and we were like, okay, they may be ready. Win 7 games with Boston and lay the egg in game 7. So I gotta see whether this guy's the guy that could
Mhm.
take him. I know he's very resilient in some of his coaching strategies. He's willing to make changes at any point, boxing one,
Right.
triangle and two, but can he get this team to the next level? I'm
Yeah.
gonna wait and see with him. So I'm gonna wait and see. All right. Well, give me your thoughts. What do you think about James Harden though? The James Harden. Do you think he's gonna stay there?
Now he out.
You think he's gone?
Yeah, I think he's gone, though. I just
You
don't
think
think.
he's gone?
Yeah, I
Really?
don't think Philly is going to want to pay him the type of money that he might be expecting now. Like he gave him a hometown discount on the last deal, and I don't think he's going to want to give him a hometown deal again. And I just think they
Mm.
don't want to, invest 200 plus million in James Harden when you see the type of performance that he gave you in the playoffs when you really need him the most. So I think that's why he's going to, leave. Now, whether he gets to Houston, where he probably want to go, but it remains to be seen. But I don't see Philly re-signing him unless he just want to take a real hometown discount again. But I'm sure he wants to get paid now. But he's not the James Harden of old. He's definitely lost a big step. He's just not aggressive James anymore. Like I don't need you to be James leading the league in assists. I need you to give me 25. Like that's what we got you for. But I just don't see Philly re-signing him.
So you don't see it at all. You don't see nothing. Nothing going to keep him there. I mean, listen. I love
I wouldn't be
Houston.
shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if he resigns, but at the end of the day, I'm sure he's not gonna want to give him a hometown discount again.
Man, I love Houston, but I don't know if leaving Houston is going to be just. I don't know. That's going to be the savior. I'm not sure that's going to save his career. And that team is supremely young.
Yeah,
So
and
I
Udoko,
wouldn't.
and then Udoko, if he go there, gonna hold him real accountable. Like
Right.
he gonna get on him. Ain't no chilling, James. Like he gonna ride you.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what he wants to do, bro. Like I said, I love Houston. Houston's a great city. Love Houston. Shout out to Houston. Shout out to our fans down there. I love Houston, but
Around H
I'm
Town.
not I'm not sure if Houston's gonna be as respectful about him coming back the way he left. And I feel like even though he may test the temperature there, he's down there often. He loves that warm climate and the good food and all that going on. I still feel like if they ain't winning he gonna still be on the microscope of on the microscope of that Houston press and just losing. Like you know what I mean? Because you already got the Astros. The Astros are playing well, but then you got like the Texans who they're gonna expect eventually they're young, but they know they're not gonna be winning. The microscope is gonna be on two teams, the Astros and the Rockets. The
Yep.
Rockets have been awful for so long for the last 3 years. What can you do beyond that? So I don't know, man. I'm at a point with him where maybe you should rethink about this. Philly is the best chance for him to win. He's not gonna get a long term contract. Please stop thinking about these 200 million, bro.
Yeah.
It's not happening. So if it does happen, the teams are ignorant. So
Yeah.
so
It's a bad
at the
investment.
so at the end of the day, he's got to figure it out, like what he wants to do next. And I'm not sure that's gonna be it, bro. I would stay with the Sixers, but I'm like you. I think he's going to Philly too. I mean, excuse me. I think
Yeah,
he's going to Houston too.
I just think like what's important to him, right? Like, is it if it's winning, Philly is the best destination for him, right? Because they're on
Hmm.
the cusp, right? They're close, right? But if
And,
it's just about money, yeah, like
And you're
bounce,
not gonna play with a talent like he's probably played with the best talent he's played with since he's been in the NBA outside of Oklahoma City
yep,
Thunder.
yep,
This is gonna be the best
absolutely.
talent, Embiid. So we'll see, man. What's your thoughts on the
Listen,
Suns hiring Vogel? What was your thoughts on that?
let me see. Let me just find something that fucking crickets. Ah, I'm not a fan of the high. Honestly, I think they could have did better. But
Mhm.
I kind of see where they're going with it because of the whole defensive mindset that Vogel comes with. And I think they know they're gonna score the basketball. Like you got two of the greatest scorers probably damn near in the history of basketball, with Booker and Katie. But
Mhm.
can they get something out of Aiden from a defensive standpoint? And I think that's one of the high, if Aiden is even there next season. But I think that's the only reason I see it as the hire of him being a great defensive mind. When he's with the Lakers a couple seasons, I think it's 3 seasons, they were in the top in defense. But you got to have players that's committed. And Phoenix going to have to figure out what other role players they're going to fill their team out with. But I think that's the only reason I see this hire from a defensive mindset, defensive identity, because they know they're gonna score the basketball. I mean, I didn't really like it, but I mean, at the end of the day, unless you go with an unproven coach or go with Doc Rivers, I think another recycle coach, bro. Honestly,
Oh, oh my goodness, man! I don't know what they're gonna do with this. I'm so convinced that these people do not want to go hire a different mindset, a
yeah,
different logic, I definitely like even the Milwaukee Bucks. They would have drafted a former assistant. So I mean, they wouldn't hire a former assistant. They didn't go with like a oldie goodie. And I like Vogel, but I don't know if Vogel's going to change the culture of the Phoenix Suns.
Right.
That bench was actually awful.
Pitiful.
Like, and I don't think even what they had on the court, they didn't have the type of players that would have shut down the Denver Nuggets anyway.
Yeah.
So you don't have to outscore them regardless. So like, what was the point of firing Monty if you feel that way?
Yeah. Yep. They should
If
just
you feel
stay
that
pat.
like you should have stayed with him if you're looking for that type of coach, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I
Another
just didn't.
recycle.
I was not a fan of this hire. I'm not saying that he's a bad hire. I'm just not a fan of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's
And
he's a he's a decent coach, right? Like he done been at some stops where they just teams were bad, right? He won the championship with the Lakers, and then you can say whether they had 3 months off and went with the bubble. But at the end of the day, they still won it. But at the end of the day, Vogel is who he is. You can't go on what he did with Indiana with a young Paul George, Roy Hibbert, a young David West, right? Like you can't live on the past. What are we doing in the future here? And I just don't think he's the guy for them. They still not gonna win it, even with Vogel. But I just think they may be better defensive. That's the only
it
way I
is,
think they're going.
and it, but see, to me, they're so focused on maybe they're focused on the work he did with the Lakers,
Yeah.
and I can understand that. I mean, the Lakers' job, I mean, what he did with the Lakers was good, but I don't know if that's gonna make them a contender though.
Nope.
And with a team that has veterans that they have and need to rebuild that bench, strategy, there's not gonna be a lot of room for error.
And then KD and CP not getting no younger.
And
KD
what
is
you gonna
coaching
what
what
you
36.
here's the thing, what you gonna do with CP3?
I think you bring him back, bro. You just gotta change his role. Like find somebody. I know you don't want to demote him to the 6 man role, but you just gotta limit his minutes. Don't play back to backs. Like you just gotta try to
So you bring
preserve him.
CP3 out? Do you bring him off the bench?
Nah, I don't think you bring him off the bench. You just gotta figure out he can't no longer play 35 minutes a game. Like you kind of dial it back to maybe kind of how like Tim Duncan did with San Antonio Spurs, maybe 27, but you need him more from a leadership standpoint, right? I need you down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Like he's a great leader. Like he hold people accountable, but I would just limit some of his minutes. Don't play the back to
But you
backs.
do you think his leadership helped them when they played against the Denver Nuggets?
It's hard to
I
be a leader
I
when you're
don't
not
know
on the
if that
floor. It's
right.
tough, right? Like being on the floor in the mix is different than being in the sideline injured. Like it's just a little different. But I think overall he's a great leader for the team, and especially now that Monty Williams is a strong leader as well. In my opinion, is not there. You're gonna need that voice, and I think CP is. So I would bring CP back honestly, but I would just try to extend his from getting these little hamstrings or thumb. Like it's just little knickknack stuff, bro. It's just crazy.
I don't think you
Groin.
keep it. I don't think you keep away from him. I think it's going to happen regardless because of
Yeah.
his body type and his structure and the way he plays, the physical nature of the way he plays, the way he fouls is going to
Mhm.
always be an issue. So I don't know. I'm not sure if that's going to be. I don't know if that's going to hurt or help them, but I do feel like, man, I don't feel like he's gonna. I think whatever's going on with them, man, it's gonna be beyond all that. And I don't know if CP3 coming back is gonna help that correct them and make them championship material
Yeah,
or
they'll win
championship
games.
team.
Yeah, they'll win games, right? They'll be probably a top 4, top 3 seed, right? We don't know what Ja gonna do with his suspension in Memphis. So I think they'll still be a top 4 team. Whether they got championship, we'll see what pieces they add, but they probably won't be able to add too many players when you got 3 players making over 20-30 million dollars. So it's just a little hard what you can do, but you know they'll
But
be a
isn't
top
it?
4 seed.
But CP3's contract's not guaranteed, right?
Yeah, I think half of it is guaranteed or something like that. But you got 2 cats making big time bread, dog. It's Aiton making big money. Like, what do you do with
Yeah,
him?
A's gonna be a problem. I think. Do you think they trade Aiden? Do you think they trade him?
I just think I would, bro. Sometimes, bro, when the talent is great, but the headache you just can't deal with it, bro. From what I seen in the playoffs, bro, he just quit on him, and I just can't have that in my locker room, bro. Like it's just a cancer. Like, and I'm sure the players are probably frustrated with him as well. And then I think a new change of scenery would be great for him.
I agree. But I don't think he. I don't think he's going to demand on the market that they hoped that he would. I think market wise, he's not going to give them the market demand that they were hopeful that contract and for his ability.
They
because see,
should
they
just let him
saw
go.
everything. They
Yeah, they
seen
should just let him
everything.
go. They should just
So I
not
think I
re-sign
think
him,
I
bro.
think I think at this point, man, they're gonna be stuck with him, and he'll go to the team next season.
Yeah, he probably will. Cause like I said, nobody. When people see on tape what they saw, why would I want him?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, bro.
He's a defensive liability, right? Like, what are you giving me besides maybe 15 and 10? This is, like I need more. Like I need more out of you.
Need 1% more out of him. You need 1% more out of him because that's what you're seeing. You're not seeing anything moving forward.
No.
All right, all right, brother. So let's move on. Let's move on to it. So let's talk about the Celtics. Devastating loss they had in Game 7.
Oh yeah, epic.
Um, Epic loss at home. We saw the game. Lost by almost 20 points. What's next for the Celtics? Let's start this out, man. Give me your thoughts first.
Whew. Man, they got all the pieces though, dog. Like they got all the pieces to be a championship caliber team. Um, for one, stop shooting so many threes. Like I get it, the game has evolved to the 3-point ball, but when half your shots are threes, it's a recipe for not winning a meaningful games. Like you're winning the regular season because a lot of cats don't play all the time. Cats, coming in late. I'm not playing tonight. So
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the playoffs, bro, you can't have half your shots or 3-point attempts. And when it's not working, you're struggling to get to the rim and turning the ball over. They have everything. They got defensive good players. They got wings. They got people that can put it on the floor. They got shooters. They got Brogdon. Is Brogdon going to want to continue to take a lesser role, going forward? So they got a lot of adjustments they need to make. But at the day, it starts with Tatum and Brown. They got to get better. Keep expanding their game. They're young. Brown, 26, Tatum, 25. Still a lot of games, shit, at least a decade to go. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think they need to change their offensive scheme of not shooting as many threes. Like you can't be shooting 40 to 50 threes a game. Like that's just way too much, bro. Like way too much. Way too much. And then I would let Hartford go. Like I think it's time. Build
Yeah.
around Robert Williams, get another big to help out. But I think it's time to let Hartford go. He's more of a liability than him just hitting the corner 3 or 2.
Right.
Yeah, I think so. I think just tweak their offense a little bit, be a little bit more aggressive, taking it to the rack, not shooting as many threes because that's what killed them in the Heat series. Like when you cold, you still shooting them up, and
Yeah,
they still.
yeah, I agree, bro. They shot 30 too many threes. And not only did they shoot too many threes, man, they don't really move the ball well.
Yeah.
Bro, like how many times you gonna keep going left and losing the ball? And even was it just wasn't Brown, it was Tatum too.
Yep.
Both of these guys were losing the ball at critical times in the game. When the teams were making runs, they were down by 6, they lost the ball. It's a layup on the other end. Stop making these very irrational, very undisciplined plays. They need more discipline as a team. They need the discipline level. And they didn't have it with Udoka. I don't want everybody want to say, oh, it's Udoka who gave it to him. No, he did not. They lost against the Golden State Warriors because they lack discipline at the game too.
Yep.
They're a very undisciplined team, and they don't move the ball well. When
Yeah.
they don't move the ball well, you start seeing it. They start slowing down. They're not moving it, and then teams can clamp on them, and they can start seeing their tendencies. Boston, don't make that trade. Here's a critical piece we got to talk about
Yeah.
because I'm saying don't make that trade, but that super max you got going on with these two players, boy, you can give what's
Whew.
name like 290, and then
Yeah.
Tatum can ask for 300 million.
Woo.
That's damn near your salary. That's
Woo.
your salary cap. Like, so I understand their frame of mind. Here's the thing: Will Brown and Tatum takes not significantly less, but enough to where they both can be on the floor together and play with each other moving forward as far as their careers. Because I think Brown can be upset, but if the Boston Celtics are entertaining trading for Dame Lillard, um, why not? That's a that's a top 10, top 15 player in the league right now. Problem with Boston is if you do that, you give him a 26-year-old
Yeah.
prime scorer that's just getting to his prime
Yep.
of his career, and you're getting who's a good enough or a decent enough defender to give up for a player who's not that great of a defender. and it's probably on the back end of his career.
Oh yeah, Dame, what, 31, 32?
Right.
Oh, he's definitely older. So,
It hasn't finished
whew,
the season in 2 years.
yeah. Boston in the pickle, bro. Because you can't trade Brown, bro. Like you said, the dude 26, bro. He just made second team All NBA. You had Tatum made first team All NBA. Like you just don't have that often. And when you
And they
got
don't,
that dynamic duo,
it's not that they dislike each other to a point where they can't play with each other. They still like each other enough where they play with each other.
yeah.
So that's the difference.
Yeah, you just got to find an offensive system where get them on the move a little bit more. Go some pick and roll. You can go pick and roll with Tatum and Brown, right? Like Tatum is 6'10" itself. Like you can do those type of things, ball movement. Like that helps when you got two dynamic people that can be in the same play, get the ball in their hands, play off each other. It's been proven. Like it ain't like it's rocket science. Teams have had two dynamic players that can coexist, right? But at the end of the day, we know probably Tatum is probably the better of the two, but that doesn't make Brown a lesser player where he's not value added. And I think sometimes he probably feel like disrespected, like he's not the guy, right? But too much is given, much is required. If they trade you and you go to another team, people are expecting you to be the guy, the franchise leader. Every night you got to answer all the questions. Every night we need 30 out of you, 25. But when you're the second guy, you can still get your numbers. Boston can still win a championship, but they just need to find a better offensive system to kind of get these cats together in the same place. Sometimes it can't be just all right, Tatum, you go 1-on-1. Brown, now you go 1-on-1. That's not gonna win, right? And then taking these bad jumpers all the time, like that's not gonna win. But they
Hmm.
can't trade him, dog. I would not do that trade for Dame Lillard. As amazing as Dame Lillard is, you're gonna have the same problem because Dame gonna want the ball. Tatum gonna want the ball. Like, what's the difference? It's still a ball dominant person.
Yeah, I think you gotta let these two young men just figure it out together.
Yeah, pay him the
Like,
600 million. That should have worked out.
at the end of the day, bro, if it don't work out, it doesn't work out. But you gotta let them figure it out together. They're young. They're very much talented. They're very much a. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, they're a great tandem. All right, they've been in the Eastern Conference Finals for like five of the maybe the last 6 years.
Yeah, they
They're
close.
they're young, man. They're
Are
still
close.
fairly young. They were going to the Chicago Finals. They're like 19, 20 years old.
Yep.
So let these young men who are young in age, let them figure it out, man. They're going to get there. It's
Yeah.
going to take them a second. Unfortunately, everybody wants instant success,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's
They want
going to
that
take these guys a
microwave.
second. Yeah, they're going to take these guys a second to get physically mature enough and mentally mature enough to understand that they're going to have to get themselves at that point of okay, I need you, you need me. I need to work on this, you need to work on this. Let's get together, let's work on it together so we
Yeah.
can stop with the BS and get us to the next level because that's what they need.
And a lot of times,
100%
but
that's what they need.
we give up on young players too soon. Like as it's just the NBA sometimes, man, you just gotta let them grow. Like you said, they only been in the league, what, 7 years? Something like that, 7, 8 years. They're still so young, 25, 26 years old. And this is and right now, the East is probably as open as it's been in a very long time, right?
Yeah,
You don't know how Milwaukee's gonna look, right? Because you don't
right,
know what they're gonna do with Middleton and Brook Lopez. Philly going through a transition with coaches, what they're doing with
right.
Harden. Cleveland is, Cleveland is there. New York, are they going to continue to ascend or are they going to fall back to be the Knicks? Right. So the East is wide open for Boston to take, but you got to be patient, man. And tweak the roster just a little bit, but you got to be patient with those two guys, man. They too nice.
I agree. I agree, man. I agree 100%, brother. Yep, so all right, bro. Next up, let's talk about the grade we want to give the Pistons for hiring Monty
Yo,
Williams.
squad.
My squad, man.
Detroit basketball.
Basketball. It's been a long time since we've had some optimism going on with Detroit basketball as far as the team and even Adrian Donovan when they hired him. I still felt like the team sucked. So the talent's getting a little bit better.
Yep.
The players are getting a little bit better. I'm gonna let you start off before I give my thoughts on the grade. What was your grade on hiring Monty Williams for this team?
A+. I mean, you got a leader. Now he may not adjust all the time. We got on him about in the Denver series where he didn't adjust, but you got a leader. of men. You got a coach that's gonna hold these young guys accountable. He's a teacher, right? Every stop he's been a teacher. He's been a leader. So I love the hire. When you give Monty the richest contract of in the history of coaches, you're gonna be
13
patient.
million.
You're gonna be patient with him, right? Like this is just not a 2, 3 year hire. This is a hire for the long term. And
Long
from a
term
owner
all day.
for the ownership, you just got to be patient, bro. You got some young pieces. Like, what's the kid Ivy that they drafted last year? You got
Mm-hmm.
Wiseman, so you got
Mm-hmm.
some pieces to build around. Maybe you might not get a free agent or two that want to come play for money that played for him in the past, right? But I love the hire. He's a teacher. He's going to help Detroit grow. And Detroit is one of those blue blood NBA teams where the NBA needs them to be great. And I think they're going to be ascending into that in the next couple years. They just got to bank on their young players ascending to all-star status. But I love the hire A+ for me. Phoenix should have never let Monty go.
Man, it's a A plus. A plus, absolutely. I mean, you're great. You're everything you said. I agree 100%. And then I add this one additional item here. He's been great at developing young teams.
Yes,
He did
yes,
he did it with Phoenix. He did with New Orleans
yeah,
Pelicans at the time,
yeah,
or the New Orleans
absolutely.
Hornets.
Yep.
He's been good at developing these young teams and to send them to a playoff level, championship type of teams. Young guys, listen to him. He's going to be right there. He'll be a father figure for a lot of these guys. He'll be a
Mm-hmm.
strength for them. He'll be a plus in a lot of different levels. I'm excited. Detroit basketball, I ain't gonna say it's back,
Yeah,
but
on
you
the
can actually look. It could be on the better end of the spectrum because it has been absolutely putrid for the last 4 years.
yeah, yeah,
And I know they were taking from Wembley. We didn't get them, so
yeah.
therefore, like we gotta figure out another plan. So hopefully, Monty can put a plan together, get this team together. So
And they
I'm
got some
excited.
talent in the draft. They got some talent in the draft. You just got
Absolutely,
to develop it, right? Like it
we
ain't like
gotta
it's a
get them.
one man draft, right? You got a lot of cats coming out of the Ignite G League, right?
We
Whatever
gotta
the
figure it
overtime
out.
league. You got the boy Miller from Alabama. Like you got cats in this draft you can build around. It's just not
Yeah,
about
but
the bad women.
Miller would not be there when we draft.
But y'all number 4,
He would. Nah, we drafted 5.
5. Oh yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
he
you
won't
got
be
some
there.
talent in there.
He
Yeah, you
drafted
got some
that.
talent.
He gonna be there too. He'll be going there too.
Yeah, I mean, shit, y'all could trade up if you want, if you really want them.
I think we need him, but yeah, I don't think I'll trade up for him.
Yeah, but they got some pieces in the draft you can just build around. Like I said, when you seen Monty develop in OKC, some of the younger players, Shea Gildress, I think he was on that staff with Shea Gildress, right? Who's the head coach? Billy Donovan. He was on that staff, so he's developed younger players, and that's what you banking on with this hire.
Yeah, I think so too, bro. I like the hire. Like I said, I like the hire as well. I feel like it's gonna be a lot. I think it's gonna be great for the organization, but he's gonna hold the organization accountable. He's gonna hold his
Mm-hmm.
players accountable. And listen to him because the guy's a winner. He's a winner of a coach, man, and that's all I think
Absolutely.
about it. All right, so let's get to the NFL. Quick discussion on NFL. DHop, new spot, got cut. Give me your thoughts. Where you think he's going?
I would like to see him in New York with the Giants. They got a
Mm,
need, right, with Dable. They made the playoffs last year. Daniel Jones didn't light it up offensively from a passing standpoint, but this is the
mm.
type of receiver, a big receiver. Wingspan is crazy. You can throw it anywhere, he gonna catch it. He'll be the guy, number one receiver off the top. Like you ain't got nobody to get balls from him. That would be a perfect spot. Of course, KC is gonna be in the mention with Patty, but I love the Giants, me personally, because they have nobody else. Right? They
Mm.
have nobody else. You just paid Daniel Jones. You're invested in him. Give him a receiver. They need it. They need a receiver. You can't keep trying to win with second tier receivers in the NFL. That's just not going to happen. Like, yeah, you made the playoffs. Great story. Dable first year, but now expectations are high now. Right now, the expectations to keep making the playoffs. Saquon, you might resign him, but he's on the franchise. Go get D-Hop. Pay him the 15 mil that OBJ got. That's what he
Do you
wants.
think? Do you think the 15? You think the reason why the Giants haven't got a top 10 receiver like that is because of the financial aspects of it? Like, what do you think the reason why they
I think
haven't?
it's more
Because
Daniel Jones. There's Daniel Jones. Like when you got a quarterback, bro, that's turning the ball over and not hitting receivers from an accuracy standpoint, nobody wants to play there, right? And that was kind of the reason why you didn't see a lot of receivers want to go play with Lamar early on, right? Because the accuracy, the style of offense. But now the Giants has Dable, bro. Dable everywhere he's been, bro, their offense has been like that.
Yeah, so University of Alabama. But anyway,
Hey man, nothing wrong with that. No, nothing wrong. I ain't got no problem with
outside
Alabama, dog.
outside outside not taking Jalen, when we see Jalen is today, he can't do that when he sees Jalen is today. But anyway,
Yeah.
all right. So, but yet, D Hop didn't put him on his 5 teams that he was excited to play for. So I don't think he's going to the Giants, bro. I
Yeah,
admit
he
he
probably
nervous
won't,
about something.
but I think it'll be a good landing spot for him. Like I said, he'll be the number one receiver instantly. You got a quarterback that shown he can still throw the football. He
Hmm.
showed he matured and didn't turn it over a lot. And you got a great offensive minded head coach.
Well,
You
do
got
you
a good
think?
side of defense, but I don't know if he's going to choose them. But yeah,
I don't think
I
it's
would
his
like to
day.
see him.
So you like to see him there? I'm gonna say I think it's the difference between the Jets and the Ravens. 2 teams that I feel like I don't think he's going to the Ravens because they put a lot of equity in
Gotcha.
Flowers and then OBJ, and then they
Yeah.
had the number one draft pick from last season or 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. The kid from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I
Bateman.
don't, baby. I don't. I think yeah. I think that maybe add him to that receiver core. The receiver room would help. Um, but I would love to see him with the Jets with and to just broaden their receiving core.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there's a lot of talent in there. I would love to see if he wants to be because he wants to be with a winning quarterback, a top tier quarterback in a championship team. I think the Jets would be probably his best bet.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Kansas City, of course, Kansas City and Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills can't afford them, but Kansas
Yeah.
City, yes. Kansas City playing with the Kansas City Chiefs, yes.
Oh
Kansas
yeah.
City Chiefs, that'd be it.
And so what's important? I'm sure now, hopefully, he made his money. He never count nobody money, but it's about trying to get that legacy Super Bowl. It's trying to get that
Absolutely.
like you've been dominant, for a very long time a receiver. We've always talked about D-Hop definitely in the top 2, 3 receivers every single year when he was healthy. Cleveland might be an option. Go back with Deshaun, him and team up with him and Cooper. That
Hmm.
might be an option, right? Like he has some good options. But what's important to him? Is it the money, getting OBJ money, the 15 mil, or is it can I go to a championship situation and have a shot at winning a Super Bowl for the next few years?
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm not sure if he wants championship implications, he'll go to Kansas City. He'll
Yeah.
take less, go to Kansas City. If you still want to be considered regarded as one of the top 5 receivers and get your money, you better go to the Jets.
Yeah. But he always what's the boy? Daniels? Not Daniels. What's the damn boy? Jesus Christ. The receiver they just got out of Ohio State. What's the goddamn
Talking
boy
about
name?
Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson. Like, would that stunt Wilson's growth as the descending number one receiver, maybe, right? He's not gonna get as many balls, possibly.
I
He
don't
he's playing a lesser role because you got D Hop now, and Aaron
know.
Rodgers
What
with
it?
young receivers, right? He tend to go more leaning toward the veteran guys. So,
Well, he already
uh,
bringing one of his veteran receivers from Green Bay.
yeah, Lazard, but Lazard ain't D Hop though. Like Lazard, just a guy. Like we thought Lazard would be the guy when they traded away Devontae Adams, but he wasn't. Right, like he's just a guy. Like he's a guy that's a third, fourth receiver at best. He's good, probably in the locker room. But when you bring in D Hop, you are sending D Hop to number one. Like he still got it, but I don't
Uh,
know. And then the Jets already got a lot going on. Like, do you want to add more with D Hop? And it's just the Jets just got a lot going on, though. Money invested in the receiver, brought in Randall Cobb. Like they got a lot going on in the receiver room. And you still got
what?
Corey Davis. And they still got Corey Davis.
That's
Like,
true.
they got to catch somebody. They go to the Jets.
I don't know, but we'll see though. We'll see. I think it's gonna be interesting. Wherever he lands, he's definitely gonna change the level of that team's talent when it comes to receivers. So if he
Absolutely.
gets to, he's gonna get there. He can choose wherever he wants because being the best part about him being cut is the fact that he can go wherever he wants to go
Yeah.
versus going where he has to go or traded to. It's really interesting to see what happens with whatever organization because they don't have to put up that money, but at the same time, you get reliable hands and a
Oh,
good
but D Hop
and
still a dog. That boy hands is ridiculous.
yeah, and he's gonna change the team. He's gonna change the spectrum of the organization. The talent's gonna be with them. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Oh yeah.
I definitely, yep.
I think even the Chargers was on this list.
Yeah, but that's amazing. Chargers didn't really put any interest in him because I feel like one I do think they understand their their receiving core room is strong.
Oh yeah, Williams
Keaton,
and
Keaton Allen
Keenan. Oh
Williams,
yeah,
and they just dropped another receiver. I think they have a strong receiving core, but yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen moving forward. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be one of those things where he can change the spectrum of whatever division he goes into because of the way he plays the receiving position. All right, man. Last topic of the day. I put this on here. I loved it.
yeah. Let's do it.
I think it's gonna be hilarious to talk about this. We we're big fans of Undisputed. We talk about this throughout our conversations all the time. And unfortunately, the change is about to come.
Yeah, it might be next week. The way the Denver game series might be
Shannon,
over.
yeah, wherever it is, at the end of the Shannon Sharpe is leaving Fox Sports One, and of course the show Undisputed, and he's taking his own show, Club Shay Shay, with him to wherever he's going to go to. And this is gonna be in the air between Skip and Shannon Sharpe, and there's been a lot of speculation on why this is going to happen, and everybody's getting these spin their conversation, and of course, we heard Skip. I mean, we heard Steve A. Smith give his thoughts on it. We've heard so many people give their thoughts on this situation, but we want to give our thoughts on it, right? Like,
It's a
what we
fact.
think that happened? Because this is one of these guys we watch. This has been inspiration and beyond of like why we feel like we want to move forward and do other things, and we want to do these type of podcasts, have our own opinion because we watch shows like this. Who gives you that drive to want to do these type of things on your own, right? So, yep, let's talk about it, Ray. What do you think happened?
I just think he wasn't getting the creative control that he probably wanted. He may have wanted more input into the show, topics, and just different things with the show creatively. And I think that probably ultimately, say, you know what, get the buyout number, whatever that number was, take his, his podcast that he has, taking that as well. But I just think it came down to creative control because yes, Skip is great at what he do, but Shannon's kind of like that sauce on it. Like he's very witty. He has very little different sayings. He come out with the gold, come out with the Laportier drink. Like he's just funny and they mesh so well, even though Skip sometimes come off cutting him off. He come off abrasive sometimes. And sometimes, bro, you just gotta, that's who a person is. It's not like that person means, any harm or ill will. It's just how they are. And maybe Shannon is at to the point where now he feel like I can carry the show a little bit more. I can, give more input behind the scenes, right? Be that guy to have more creative control on the show, where Skip probably does it all. He probably picks the topics and everything else. And I think that's what it probably came down to for him to get to a point where, however many years he have left on the Fox Sports, the Fox contract to get a buyout. I think he just probably got frustrated, dog. I truly think that's what it is.
Hell yeah, he picks the topics. Absolutely. Like we talk about LeBron and the Cowboys so much. I'm like, bro, why
Yeah,
do we talk about these guys or this particular position or these coaches of these teams so much?
yeah,
Bro, like nobody cares about the Cowboys like this, man.
yeah.
You
LeBron
guys
every
are
at
making
least
it.
once look and once a week, even if LeBron not playing, he gonna be a topic at least
Even though
twice a
yo,
week,
LeBron's
at least.
he's been the topic of these last few weeks, and we're like, bro, he's been out the playoffs. Nobody
Yeah,
cares.
yeah,
I think this is one of those things where one guy ascends, he moves up, he becomes more of the lead character in the show. He is now branching his wings beyond it. And I think there's a lot of different little things that probably rubbed Skip the wrong way. Number one, when he brought the Laporte and did the little drink and did all that, like, hey, like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm the chef. Those type of antics probably rubbed Skip the wrong way. He probably brought it up on the back end on his own and had these discussion points. And Shannon just, I mean, sometimes somebody cuts you off and you can't get beyond it. You got to move on.
yeah,
He's getting probably stunned his growth. And he wants to maximize his potential because Shannon looks at it like, man, listen, I'm no longer playing ball. I'm no longer playing sports. This is
yeah.
my time on the show. I need to keep expanding my potential
Absolutely.
as a business conglomerate. So he probably looked at it like that level and said, "Man, listen, I got to move on because the amount of money I can make moving forward in my career is going to
Oh, yeah.
be generational wealth for my family and beyond."
Yes.
And yeah, man, he's ready to move on from that, bro. He wasn't. I think Skip was happy being in Skip's lane, being a probably the one who's going to make the most money on the show, but probably
Oh,
just
absolutely.
being that where he just talks about this particular things all the time. And
Yeah.
Shannon Sharpe was like, "Bro, I'm cool with that, but that's great." But that's today. This is right now between 9:30 and 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Once I move from there, I got other endeavors I want to do. I don't make as much money. I gotta make up the millions. I gotta
Yeah.
do other stuff. I gotta be in other lanes, and I would commend him. Stand on your own 2 feet, brother. And
Yeah.
as we heard from Stephen A. Smith, man's first tape is open for you. You can dive into it. Let's
Yeah.
do it. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's gonna work, but
Yeah.
hey, listen, I don't know if that's gonna work, but I do enjoy the fact that he want to stand his own 2 feet and show people you can mature in your own career, even outside your main sport or your main career.
And
So,
I think you strike the skillet while it's hot. Like he's a hot
hmm
brand, a hot name right now. His YouTube channel is blowing up. Like if he's going to do it, this is the best time to do it, right? And then now you at a point in our this whole digital space, the whole sports media space. You don't need Fox Sports to make millions of dollars, right? Like you don't need a big network to blow your name up. Social media is
hmm
crazy. YouTube is just blown up. You know what I'm saying? Like
yep,
this
yep,
is the time to do it. And hell, I wouldn't be surprised he linked with LeBron, like in the whole uninterrupted Spring Hill. But at the end of the day, bro, you sink and fall on your own ship. Like if you fail, it's because of you. Don't it ain't because of nobody else. And this is the perfect
hmm
time for Shannon to take his podcast, take any other business endeavors that he had from a digital standpoint, from a media standpoint. Strike the skillet while it's hot. Strike the skillet
yeah,
while it's hot, bro. This is the
and go
perfect
for it,
time.
man. And
Go
go
for
for
it.
it, man. Because at the end of the day, man, that's what this is all about. Believing in yourself, and believing what you have, believing what you engineer,
Yep.
believing in your and building a production company that you can actually stand on your own 2 feet.
Yep.
I'm excited for see what he got going on. But yeah, I don't want to go on the first take. I'm the same way everybody else. I'm not thinking first take is that his lane for him, especially because now we're out there in California. But I'm excited the fact that he can build something for himself, and we'll see what's gonna happen for him in his future, man. We'll be dialed in.
Yeah, because you don't get to buy unless you got a plan. Right?
Yep.
Like you got something ready to go
Yep.
because you don't want to die in this space where like, damn, bro, Shannon been going out of this lane for a year. Like, and you
Yep.
don't hear from him. Like, you got to stay relevant in this game. Like, you got to continue to produce, content. And I think too, from undisputed standpoint, Skip ain't dumb, right? Like Skip, I'm sure they're gonna find somebody witty, somebody that kind of, you're not gonna be Shannon Sharp, but Brian Clark,
Yeah. I
a good,
mean,
you
Ron
know what I'm
Clark.
saying?
I don't know if Ron Clark's gonna be available because I think he already got resigned. But why not bring in Joy Taylor again?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's all right though. You think she's good on the one with Shade McCoy and all them boys?
I like her on Speak, but if you put it back in, she was the host. It's a story. She wants
And
to host. Now she's the actual a co-host of Skip Bayless, and it's a woman perspective. And I love the idea. I love the story. I love the idea. And
yeah,
bro, plus also, I didn't think they liked the way Shannon was going at Kwame Brown either. I think they didn't like that either.
I mean, bro, it's what it is, dog. Like,
I don't think they like that. I think they thought at that professional level and said, and that probably made the bob easier to do.
yeah.
Not saying that they don't feel like it's a loss, but I feel like they were like, we'll make that buy now because we just don't want that negative energy that's coming out of that situation.
But a lot of people watch Undisputed because of Shannon Sharp, bro. The dude just funny, he witty, like he just his antics,
Yeah,
like
but
it's just funny,
sometimes
dog.
I do feel like Shannon was becoming more like Skip in a certain sense, where a lot of the things that he was discussing and topic he was talking on was coming off very tone deaf.
Mhm.
So I feel like that may have been probably why he maybe felt like it was time for him to move on. Like maybe he felt like that was probably come a part of his initiative or his frame of mind. And he probably looked at it like, you know what, I need to move on to something else.
Yeah, and then like you can see like lately, like some of the topics, like bro, why are we talking about this? Like, are we talking about this
Yeah,
again? Like, really? Like you can just
yeah,
just sense his body language and his tone with some of the topics. Like,
Yeah,
damn, like we talking about this again. Like,
yeah. So I was
why
just
is it?
saying,
Oh,
like,
why is even a story? You know?
I think this is where he was probably feeling like he was being limited in that lane. So, yeah, I agree, man. I
Yeah.
agree.
But I think both of
Well,
them gonna be all right, bro. Like, Skip. I'm sure Fox already got a plan. They gonna probably bring someone out. Well, people watch. It depends on who they bring in. You know what I'm
we'll
saying?
we'll we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see, my brother. We'll see.
but yeah.
All right, man. So that's the last topic of the day, man. We got to get up out of here. Give me your
That,
final thoughts before we get out of here, bro.
man, great show, brother. Dynamic duo. We in the building.
It's a two.
Cause
It's just a two. It's been a two for life. We're gonna have a conversation about this because these brothers, they got so much going on, man. It's just us two, but we gonna hold it down. We don't care.
yeah, we do it. We
This is
got
what we do. This is what we do.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, great show, man. Like I said, just continue to be patient with us, bro. You know, we started out this journey into this our year 5 now. We knew it wasn't going to be the easiest road. We knew, it's a journey. Like just like life, you don't give up. Don't give up on us. Be patient with us. We gonna get it rocking and rolling. We gonna, it's just life. Shit got everything got going on. But at the end of the day, keep riding with us. We got the number one sports talk show podcast in the world. I truly believe that. And keep riding with us, man.
I got nothing to disagree against that, brother. I got nothing to add on, bro, man. You can get us out of here. We roll out.
All right, brother. We out.
Mm.